I don't know exactly when the library became the only place that felt right anymore. Maybe it was the first really cold evening in December, when the wind pushed right through my coat and the streets felt too empty to walk home through. I just kept coming back. Every afternoon turning into evening, I'd walk the same route, past the same frosted windows, until the heavy wooden doors closed behind me and the warmth wrapped around like someone remembered I was coming. The old building smells the same every time. Paper, wood polish, a little dust that never quite settles. I like that it doesn't change. I like that no one expects anything from me here. I'd wander the stacks, not really looking for anything in particular, just letting my fingers brush the spines until one called me to pull it down. That first night I found the note, I almost missed it. I was sitting at the long table near the tall windows, snow starting to stick to the glass outside. I opened a worn copy of a poetry collection I'd read a dozen times before. And there, in the margin beside one of those quiet lines about winter and waiting, someone had written in soft pencil, "You come back to this one too, don't you?" Just that. No name. No ero pointing anywhere. Just those 7 words, small and careful, like they weren't trying to be noticed. But they noticed me. I sat there longer than I meant to, kept running my thumb over the letters. They weren't hurried. They weren't loud. They felt familiar, like someone had watched me sit in this exact chair before, maybe more than once, and decided to leave something gentle behind. I looked around the reading room. A few people scattered at other tables. An older man turning pages slowly. A student with headphones, head down over textbooks. No one looking my way. No one who seemed like they'd write something like that. I closed the book, opened it again, read the note again. Then I read the poem underneath it the way I always do, but this time the words felt different, like they were being spoken to both of us. I didn't tell anyone about it. I didn't even take a picture. I just sat with that small penciled sentence until the lights dimmed for the last half-hour warning. When I finally stood up to leave, I slid the book back exactly where I found it. Part of me hoped the note would still be there tomorrow. Part of me was afraid it wouldn't. The walk home was quieter than usual. Snow falling thicker now, muffling everything. My footsteps sounded small against all that white, and I kept thinking about those 7 words. Not in a loud way, not like a mystery I had to solve. More like a warmth I hadn't expected to feel again. I came back the next evening. Same coat, same route, same heavy doors. I told myself I was just returning to the poetry section out of habit. But my heart beat a little faster when I reached for the book. It was still there, and underneath my note, someone had added another line, right below the first one. I do too, every time it snows. I stood in the aisle holding the open book like it might disappear if I breathed too hard. My finger hovered over the new words. They were written in the same soft pencil, same careful slant, and something inside me loosened, not all at once, just a little, like a knot I hadn't realized I was carrying. I didn't write back that night. I wasn't ready. I just read the 2 lines over and over until closing time came again. When I put the book away, I left it facing outward on the shelf instead of pushed all the way in. A tiny signal. I'm here. I saw it. I'm listening. The snow kept falling for days, and every evening I came back. Sometimes I found new notes. Sometimes I didn't. But each time I opened a book I'd touched before, I looked for that handwriting. Small, gentle, never demanding anything. Just there, like it had always been waiting for me to notice. And slowly, very slowly, I started to wonder what I might say if I ever wrote back. Not something clever, not something big, just honest. Something that felt as quiet as the library after everyone else has gone home. I still haven't decided what the first words will be, but I know they're coming. I can feel them waiting in the tips of my fingers, the way the snow waits on the windows before it finally falls. I'll tell you the rest soon, when I'm ready. For now, just picture me sitting here again tomorrow evening, the same table by the window, the same soft pencil in my hand, wondering if tonight is the night I finally answer. I didn't write back right away. Not the next night. Not the one after that. I kept coming though. Every evening, same time, Same coat, still carrying the cold from outside. I'd walk straight to the poetry section first, like it was a habit I couldn't break anymore. Sometimes the book was already pulled partway out, like someone had been there just before me. Other times I had to search for it myself, heart doing that small, stupid flutter when my fingers finally found the familiar spine. The notes kept appearing, never in the same poem twice, never demanding I answer, just little quiet things tucked into the margins like they belonged there. One said, "The way you hold the page when you read, careful, like it might tear if you're not gentle." I stared at that one for a long time, because it was true. I do hold books like that, always have, and realizing someone had noticed, it didn't feel invasive. It felt like being seen in the softest possible way, like someone had paid attention without asking for anything in return. Another night, beside a line about missing someone who was never really gone. I think we've sat in the same chair before, different evenings, same quiet. I closed my eyes for a second after reading it. The library was almost empty again. Just the low hum of the heater and snow tapping the windows like tiny fingertips. I remember thinking, maybe I've walked past her already. Maybe she's seen me and I've seen her and we just didn't know it yet. The thought made my chest feel warm and tight at the same time. That was the night I almost wrote something. I sat at my usual table with the book open, pencil in my hand, tip hovering over a blank margin. I wanted to say thank you, or maybe just, I see you too. But every sentence I tried in my head felt too big, too loud for pencil on paper. So I put the pencil down, closed the book, left it on the table instead of putting it back right away. A small delay, a small hope. The next evening the note was waiting underneath where I'd left off. I waited to see if you'd write. You didn't. That's okay. I'm not going anywhere. I read it twice, then 3 times, and something shifted inside me. Not dramatically, just a door cracking open that I hadn't realized was locked. I wasn't scared anymore. I was curious, and maybe a little braver. So the night after that, I finally did it. I chose a different book this time, one I hadn't touched before. A slim volume of Mary Oliver poems, the kind that feel like walking through woods after rain. I opened it to Wild Geese, found the line about belonging to the world. And underneath it, in my own careful handwriting, I wrote, "I belong here too, in this quiet, with your words waiting." I stared at what I'd written for probably a full minute. It wasn't poetry. It wasn't clever. It was just true. And that felt like enough. I slid the book back onto the shelf. Not too far in. Not too obvious. Just enough that someone looking closely might notice it wasn't pushed all the way flush with the others. I didn't stay long after that. The snow was heavier when I stepped outside. Big soft flakes catching in my eyelashes. I walked slower than usual, letting the cold press against my cheeks while my mind stayed back in that aisle, wondering if she'd find my words tonight, or tomorrow, or the day after. I wondered what her handwriting looked like up close, if she paused before she wrote the way I did, if her hand ever shook just a little when she pressed the pencil to the page. Most of all, I wondered if she'd smile when she read what I left. Not a big smile, just that small, private one people save for moments no one else sees. I didn't know her name yet. I didn't know her voice, but I knew she liked the same lines I liked. And she came here when the world felt too loud everywhere else. That was already more than I'd expected to find in a winter like this. When I got home, I didn't turn on any lights. Just stood in the dark kitchen for a while, coat still on, snow melting into small puddles on the floor. I kept replaying the moment I set the pencil down. The tiny sound it made against the paper. The way my heart stayed steady instead of racing. I think that was the first time I admitted to myself, I want her to find it. I want her to know I'm here too. And maybe, just maybe, I want her to write back. I'll tell you what happened next when I'm ready. For now, picture me tomorrow evening again, walking the same snowy path, carrying that same soft hope, wondering if tonight the book will be moved, wondering if there'll be new words underneath mine, wondering if the quiet between us is starting to feel less like distance and more like something shared. The next evening, I walked in carrying more than just the cold on my coat. I carried the memory of what I'd written. Those few simple lines still felt exposed, like I'd left a piece of myself sitting on that shelf for anyone to find. But mostly for her. I didn't go straight to the poetry section this time. I made myself wait. I wandered the fiction aisles first, picked up a book I had no intention of reading, flipped through pages I didn't see. My heart kept pulling me back toward the spot where I'd left my note, but I told it to be patient. Just a little longer. When I finally reached the shelf, the Mary Oliver book was gone. Not pushed back in. Not misplaced. Simply not there. For a second, everything felt too still. The library lights seemed brighter, the snow outside louder against the glass. I stood in the aisle staring at the empty space like it might explain itself. Then I noticed another book had been pulled forward just slightly. A different collection. Rilke this time. Letters to a young poet. The kind of book people don't usually check out in winter unless they're looking for something quiet to hold on to. I slid it out carefully, opened to the first page I landed on. And there, in the margin beside a line about patience and ripening like fruit, she had written, "I found your words last night. They felt like the warmest thing in the room. Thank you for answering." I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. My fingers stayed pressed to the page so it wouldn't close. She'd seen it. She'd read it. And she hadn't laughed or ignored it. She'd left something back. Something soft. Something real. I sat down at the nearest table. Not my usual one, just the closest empty chair, and reread her note 3 times. Each time the warmth in my chest grew a little steadier. Not wild. Not overwhelming. Just present. Like a small fire someone had tended while I wasn't looking. I turned the pages slowly after that, not really reading the letters, just letting my eyes rest on her handwriting next to mine. They looked different side by side. Hers a little smaller, a gentle forward lean. Mine straighter, more careful. But they fit, like two people who'd been writing in the same quiet room without knowing it. I stayed there until the announcement came over the speakers. 15 minutes until closing. I didn't want to leave the book behind yet, so I carried it with me to the circulation desk. Checked it out even though I knew I wouldn't read it at home. I just needed to keep her words with me a little longer. Outside, the snow had stopped for the first time in days. The world looked newly quiet under all that white. Streetlights caught in the fresh layer like tiny held breaths. I walked home slower than ever. Every few steps, I pulled the book out of my bag just to look at the margin again. To make sure it was still there. To make sure I hadn't dreamed the whole thing. That night, I didn't sleep right away. I sat on the edge of my bed with the lamp on low, book open in my lap. I traced her words with my fingertip, not pressing hard enough to leave a mark, just feeling the slight indent the pencil had made. And I thought, this is the closest I've felt to anyone in a long time, and I don't even know her name. The next evening, I brought the book back. I didn't leave a new note right away. I waited until I found a line that felt right. Something about how solitude can sometimes be the beginning of connection. Underneath it, I wrote, "I keep coming back because of you now. Not just the books. You." I didn't hesitate this time. The pencil moved steady. When I finished, I closed the book gently, like I was tucking someone in. Then I placed it back on the shelf exactly where I'd found it. No signal. No delay. Just trust that she'd look. I didn't see anyone that night who felt like her. No one lingered near the poetry section. No one glanced my way with quiet recognition. But I didn't mind. The waiting felt different now. Less empty. More like breathing room. A few nights later, I found her reply, tucked into the same Rilke book, right under my last words. "I keep coming back too. Same reason." And below that, almost like an afterthought, but not really, "Maybe one day we won't need the pages anymore." I read that line and felt something shift again. Not fear. Not excitement exactly. Just a gentle pull forward. Like the story was ready to step out of the margins if we both let it. I didn't write back that night. I just sat with her words until the lights began to dim. Then I put the book away carefully, walked out into the cold, and for the first time all winter, the quiet didn't feel lonely. Felt shared. Even before we'd spoken, even before I knew what her voice sounded like. I'll tell you what happened when the pages finally weren't enough anymore. When the space between the shelves became the only place left to meet. But not yet. For now, just picture me tomorrow night again. Same coat, same path, same soft hope growing steadier. Wondering if tonight is when the handwriting turns from pencil on paper into something spoken. Something real, something we can finally look at each other and say without words. After that last note, the one about not needing the pages anymore, I started noticing the library differently. Not louder, not brighter, just more alive in the quiet corners. Every time I pushed through those heavy doors, it felt like stepping into a room where someone was already waiting. Not impatiently, just patiently, the way snow waits on branches before it decides to fall. I kept my routine the same. Same coat, same path through the snow that never quite melted between visits. But now when I walked the aisles, I looked a little longer at the people sitting at tables. Not staring, just wondering. Was it the woman with the gray scarf reading history? The one with short hair who always took the chair by the radiator? Or maybe the quiet girl who came in late, coat dusted with flakes, and disappeared into nonfiction? I didn't know. And strangely, I didn't need to rush to find out. The notes had taught me waiting could feel kind. A few evenings passed like that. No new handwriting appeared. I checked the Rilke book every night, nothing. Checked the Mary Oliver, still nothing. Checked a few others I thought she might like, empty margins. At first it made my stomach twist just a little. Not panic, just that soft ache of maybe I said too much. Maybe the words landed wrong. Maybe she changed her mind about leaving them at all. But then I remembered what she'd written. I'm not going anywhere, and I let the doubt breathe for a minute, then let it go. She hadn't promised more notes. She'd only promised presence. And somehow that started to feel like enough. One night the snow came down so thick the windows looked painted white. The library felt smaller, cozier, like the world had shrunk to just these walls and shelves. I wandered longer than usual, ended up in the back stacks where the lights are dimmer and the air smells older. I pulled down a book I'd never touched before. A collection of Japanese haiku translated quietly, almost shyly. I opened it randomly, and there it was, not in the margin this time, tucked between two pages like a bookmark someone forgot. A small folded piece of paper, not torn from anything, cut carefully. I unfolded it slowly, heart doing that steady, familiar beat. In her handwriting, simple and small. I've been sitting 3 tables behind you for the last week. You never look back. I never look away. Maybe tonight we stop pretending the shelves are the only thing between us. I read it once, then again, then I just held it. The paper felt warm from being close to someone's hand. I looked around without moving my head too much. The reading room stretched out behind me. Tables in soft rows, lamps making small pools of light. 3 tables back. I didn't turn fully. I just let my eyes drift. There she was. Not hiding. Not obvious either. Just sitting with an open book she wasn't reading. Dark hair falling forward a little. A green sweater that looked soft enough to lean into. She had her chin resting on her hand, elbow on the table. And when my gaze finally settled on her, she didn't flinch. She just looked back, calm, steady, like she'd been waiting for exactly this second. Our eyes met across the room. No smile at first, just recognition, the kind that doesn't need words yet. Then, so small I almost missed it. The corner of her mouth lifted. Not a big grin, just that private curve people save for moments like this. I felt my own mouth answer without asking permission. Tiny lift, the same quiet shape. I folded the note again, slipped it into my coat pocket like something precious. Then I stood up. Not fast, not hesitant either, just natural, like my body already knew where it wanted to go. She watched me walk over, didn't stand, didn't look away. When I reached her table, I stopped a step back, giving her space, giving myself space. The air between us felt careful, warm, full of everything we'd already said without voices. I spoke first, quiet, barely above the sound of pages turning somewhere far off. I read your note. She nodded once. Her voice came soft, a little lower than I expected. I hoped you would. We stayed like that for a second. Not awkward, just letting the moment settle. Then she gestured to the empty chair across from her. Sit. I did, slowly. The chair creaked just a little. I set my hands on the table, not folded, not fidgeting, just there, open. She closed her book. Not dramatically, just enough to show she was here now, really here. I'm Elena, she said. The name landed gentle, like it belonged in this room, in this winter, in this quiet.
He paused.
Not because I forgot, just because saying it out loud to her felt different.
I'm Alex.
She smiled then, smaller than before, warmer. Alex, she repeated, like she was trying the sound of it, like she liked how it felt. We didn't rush into more words. We just sat, listened to the snow tap the windows, listened to someone cough softly 2 rows over, listened to our own breathing find the same slow rhythm. After a while she spoke again, still quiet, still careful. I started leaving the notes because your face looked like it needed something kind. The way you sat with the books, like they were holding you together. I wanted to add something small, something that said you weren't alone in that. I looked down at my hands, felt my throat get a little tight, not from sadness, from being seen so plainly. I didn't know how much I needed that, I said, until I found the first one. She didn't say anything right away, just let my words sit between us. Then, I'm glad you wrote back. I almost stopped leaving them. I thought maybe I was imagining the connection. I looked up, met her eyes again. I thought the same thing. Every time I checked and there was nothing, I wondered if I dreamed you. She laughed then, just a breath of sound. Soft, real. We're both a little scared of this, aren't we? I nodded. Yeah, but the scared part feels okay. With you. She reached across the table. Not far, just enough. Her fingers brushed the back of my hand. Light.
Tentative.
Then stayed. Her skin was warm. Mine too. We didn't hold hands exactly. We just let our fingers rest together. Like 2 people testing if the world still felt safe when they touched. The closing announcement came over the speakers. 15 minutes. We both looked up at the same time, then back at each other. Tomorrow? She asked. Tomorrow, I said. She squeezed my fingers once. Gentle. Then let go. We stood up together, walked to the return cart side by side, not touching now, but close enough that I could feel the warmth of her arm near mine. Outside the snow had started again, soft flakes drifting slow. We paused under the awning for a second, looked at each other one more time. Good night, Alex.
Good night, Elena.
She turned left. I turned right, but the distance didn't feel heavy anymore. It felt temporary. I walked home with her note still in my pocket, her voice still in my ears, her fingers still ghosting the back of my hand. And for the first time all winter, the quiet didn't feel like something I had to fill. It felt like something we could share, even when we were apart. I'll tell you about the evenings that came after, the ones where words became less necessary, where sitting close said more than pencil ever could. But not tonight. For now, just picture me walking through the snow, a small smile I can't quite hide, knowing tomorrow the library will feel even warmer because she'll be there. Not in the margins, but right across from me, real, waiting, ready to see what quiet thing happens next. The next evening, I walked to the library feeling different. Not nervous exactly, more like aware. Every step on the salted sidewalk, every breath of cold air, reminded me she was real now. Not just handwriting, not just a feeling I carried home in my pocket.
Elena.
Her name still felt new in my mouth when I said it quietly to myself on the way there. I pushed the doors open earlier than usual. The warmth hit me first, then the familiar smell of old paper and polished wood. I didn't rush to the poetry section. I didn't check for notes. I just stood inside the entrance for a second, letting my eyes adjust, letting my heart settle. She was already there, at the same table from last night, Same green sweater. A different book open in front of her. But she wasn't reading. She was looking toward the doors. When our eyes met across the room, she didn't wave. She just let her mouth curve into that small, private smile again. The one that felt like it was only for me.
He walked over slowly.
Coat still on. Snow melting off my boots in tiny drops. She watched every step. Not intense, just present. When I reached the table, I paused. "Hi," I said, quiet, like the word might break if I said it too loud.
Alex.
Her voice was the same soft, low tone from yesterday. It wrapped around my name in a way that made my chest feel warm. I sat down across from her. Same chair as before. The table between us felt smaller tonight. Not because it was, just because we weren't strangers anymore. We didn't speak right away. We just sat, listened to the soft sounds around us. Someone turning a page 2 aisles over, the low hum of the heater, snow brushing the windows like a whisper. I liked that we could be quiet together. That silence didn't feel empty. After a minute or two, she closed her book, resting her hands on top of it, fingers loose, relaxed. "I kept thinking about last night," she said, "all day, not in a big way, just steady, like something finally clicked into place." I nodded. "Me too." I walked home replaying the way you said goodnight, over and over. It felt like the kindest thing anyone had said to me in months. She looked down at her hands for a second, then back up. "I almost didn't leave that last note, the one about sitting behind you. I was scared it would change everything, or break it." I felt that same small ache she was describing, the fear of reaching too far. I was scared too. Every time I wrote something back, I thought, what if this is too much? What if she stops? She let out a soft breath, almost a laugh but gentler. "We both kept going anyway." "Yeah," I said. "We did." We sat with that for a while, the truth of it settling between us like fresh snow. No rush to cover it up. No need to explain it away. Eventually, she tilted her head a little. "What made you start coming here every night?" "Before the notes, I thought about it. Really thought. It was the only place that didn't ask anything from me. Work was loud. Home was too quiet in the wrong way. Here, I could just exist, breathe, hold a book like it was enough company." She listened without interrupting, her eyes steady. When I finished, she said, "That's why I come too. The world feels softer in here, like I can lower my shoulders." I looked at her then, really looked. The way the lamp light caught the side of her face, the small line between her brows when she was thinking, the way her fingers moved just slightly against the book cover, like they wanted to reach but were waiting. "I like your hands," I said. The words came out before I could stop them. Simple, honest. I felt my face warm. She glanced down at them, then back at me. Tiny smile. "I like yours too, the way you turn pages. Slow, like you're listening to them." We both laughed then. Just a breath of sound. Quiet enough that no one else would notice. But it felt big between us. She slid her hand across the table. Palm up. Not demanding, just offering. I placed mine in hers. Our fingers fit together naturally. Not tight, just resting. Her thumb brushed the side of my hand once. Slow, deliberate. I felt my breathing slow down to match hers. The library faded a little. Not gone, just background. The only thing sharp was her hand in mine. The warmth moving from her skin to mine. The quiet promise in how neither of us pulled away. We stayed like that until the lights flickered for the 10-minute warning. Neither of us moved right away. Then she spoke. Soft. "Tomorrow? Same time?" I squeezed her hand once. "Like, same time." She smiled. That small curve again. Then she let go. We stood up together. Walked toward the doors side by side. Our arms brushed once. Accidental. But neither of us moved away. Outside, the cold hit sharp after all that warmth. We paused under the awning again. Snow falling in lazy spirals now. Big flakes catching the streetlight. She turned to me. "I'm glad we stopped pretending the shelves were between us." I looked at her. snow in her hair like tiny stars. Me too. She stepped closer, just one small step, then leaned in, not fast, not hesitant, just sure. Her lips brushed my cheek, soft, warm against the cold. A second, maybe two, then she pulled back, eyes meeting mine again. Good night, Alex.
God night, Elena.
She turned and walked into the snow. I watched her until she disappeared around the corner, my cheek still tingling where she'd kissed it, my hands still remembering hers. I started home, snow crunching under my boots, but the cold didn't reach me the same way. Not tonight. I kept thinking about that small kiss. Not dramatic, not a promise of everything, just a quiet beginning, a gentle yes to whatever came next. And I knew tomorrow I'd walk back here again. Same path, same doors, same quiet hope. Only now it had a name, and a touch, and a warmth that stayed with me all the way home. I'll tell you about the nights that followed. The ones where we didn't need notes anymore. Where sitting close became the new language. Where small touches said what words used to. But not yet. For now, just picture me lying in bed tonight, cheek still warm, hand curled like it's still holding hers, smiling into the dark because tomorrow the library won't just be a refuge anymore. It'll be where we keep meeting, where we keep choosing each other, one quiet evening at a time. The evenings started to feel less like visits and more like coming home. Every time I walked those last few blocks through the snow, my steps got a little lighter, not because the cold had changed, but because I knew exactly who was waiting inside. Not with expectation, just with presence. We didn't always sit at the same table anymore. Sometimes we chose one farther back, where the light was softer and the shelves felt closer around us. Like the library was folding itself gently over our small space, making it ours for a while. One night I arrived first. I picked a corner table near the tall window that looked out on the streetlights glowing through falling snow. I set my coat over the back of the chair beside me, a quiet way of saving her place. Then I opened a book I wasn't really reading, just holding it, waiting. When she came in, she paused in the doorway for a second, shook snow from her sleeves, looked around until her eyes found me. That small smile appeared again, the one that started in her eyes before it reached her mouth. She walked over without hurry, slid into the chair I'd saved. Our knees brushed under the table once. Neither of us moved away. She smelled faintly of snow and something warm, like cedar or vanilla from her coat. I liked that scent. It stayed with me even after she left. We sat quietly at first, like always, letting the moment stretch. Then she reached into her bag and pulled out a small notebook. Not the kind for notes in margins. Plain one, soft cover. She opened it to a blank page and slid it toward me. I thought maybe we could write something together, she said, her voice low, almost a whisper. Not poetry, just whatever comes. One line at a time, no rules. I looked at the empty page, felt a tiny flutter in my chest. Not fear, just the gentle surprise of being invited deeper. I took the pen she offered, held it for a second, then wrote the first thing that felt true. The snow keeps falling, but tonight it feels like it's falling softer. I turned the notebook toward her. She read it slowly, nodded once like the words had landed exactly where they should. Then she wrote underneath, "Because we're both here to catch it." I smiled without meaning to. Read her line again. Felt something loosen in my shoulders. I added, "And the quiet doesn't feel empty anymore." She took the pen back. Her fingers brushed mine when she did. Like, intentional. "It feels full of small things," she wrote. "Like your handwriting next to mine. Like the way your breathing matches the page turns." We kept going like that, passing the notebook back and forth. One line each. No rules. No need to make it beautiful. Just honest. After a while, the lines got shorter. More space between them, like we were giving each word room to breathe. She wrote, "I used to come here to disappear. Now I come here to be seen." I stared at that for a long time, felt my throat get tight in the best way. Then I wrote, "I used to come here to be alone. Now I come here to be with you." When she read it, she didn't write right away. She just looked at me, eyes soft, a little shiny, not tears, just feeling. She reached across the table again. This time she took my hand fully, fingers threading through mine, palm to palm. We stayed like that, notebook open between us, unfinished, but enough. The closing lights flickered sooner than I wanted. We both glanced up, then back at each other. She spoke first, quiet. Tomorrow, can we walk out together? I squeezed her hand once. Yeah, I'd like that. We gathered our things slowly, coats on, books tucked away. The notebook she slipped back into her bag, like it was something we'd keep adding to, night after night. Outside, the snow had eased to a gentle drift. The street was empty except for the soft orange glow of lamps. We stepped off the curb at the same time, walked side by side, not touching at first. Then her hand found mine again, gloved fingers curling around gloved fingers, warm even through the layers. We didn't talk much on the walk, just breathed the same cold air, watched our breath cloud and disappear, watched our footsteps make parallel lines in the fresh snow, close, but not overlapping, not yet. When we reached the place where our paths would split, we stopped, turned to face each other under a streetlight. Snowflakes caught in her eyelashes, in her hair. She looked at me like I was the only thing worth seeing. "Thank you," she said, "for writing back that first time, for everything after." I felt my chest rise and fall. Steady. "I'm the one who should thank you. You left the first note. You made the quiet feel safe enough to answer." She stepped closer, just enough that I could feel her warmth through our coats. Then she leaned in again, this time not to my cheek, to my lips, soft, slow, a kiss that didn't demand anything, just shared what was already there. It lasted only a few seconds, but it felt like time paused. The snow kept falling around us, silent, patient. When she pulled back, our foreheads rested together for a moment, breath mingling, eyes closed. "Good night, Alex."
Good night, Elena.
She squeezed my hand one last time, then let go, turned, walked away into the white. I watched until she was just a shape in the snow, then turned toward home. My lips still tingled, my hand still remembered hers, and inside me, something felt settled, not finished, just beginning in a new way. I'll tell you about the nights that came next, the ones where walks became longer, where kisses became more, where the library started to feel like the place we met, not the place we stayed. But not tonight. For now, just picture me walking the last stretch home, snow falling gentle around me, a quiet smile I can't quite put away, knowing tomorrow we'll meet again. Not because we have to, but because we want to, because the quiet we built together has become the best place either of us knows. After that kiss under the streetlight, the winter nights started to carry a different kind of quiet. Not heavier, not lighter either, just fuller, like the snow had learned to fall with more intention. Each flake landing softer because someone now knew exactly why I smiled when I stepped outside. We didn't rush anything. We never talked about what we were becoming. We just kept showing up. Same heavy doors, same warm smell of paper and wood, same small table that felt more like ours with every evening. Some nights we barely spoke at all. We'd sit close enough that our shoulders touched when one of us shifted. I'd read something aloud in a low voice, just a line or two from whatever book was open between us. She'd listen with her eyes half closed, like the words were sinking straight into her skin. Then she'd reach for my hand under the table. No words needed, just fingers finding fingers, warmth moving slow between us. One evening the library was almost empty. The snow outside had turned to a steady, silent fall. We were tucked in the back corner again, the one with the window that looked out on nothing but white. She had her head resting lightly against my shoulder. I could feel her breathing slow, even matching the rhythm of the page I was turning. I set the book down, not because I was finished, just because I wanted to feel her there more clearly. She lifted her head a little, looked up at me. "What?" she asked. Soft, no edge. I hesitated, not from doubt, from wanting the words to come out right. I keep thinking, this feels too gentle to be real. Like I'm going to wake up one morning and the notes will be gone, and you'll be gone, and I'll be back to sitting alone again. She didn't pull away. She just looked at me for a long moment. Then she took my hand, turned it palm up, traced a slow circle in the center with her thumb. I think about that too, she said. Sometimes when I'm walking here, I wonder if tonight you won't come. If maybe you decided it was safer to stay away. That the quiet was better when it was just yours. I felt my chest tighten. Not painful, just honest. But I keep coming, I said. Every time. She nodded. And I keep waiting. Every time. We sat with that unspoken fear between us for a while. Not trying to fix it. Just letting it exist. Letting it be small next to everything else we felt. Then she leaned in closer, her forehead against mine, breath warm on my cheek. I don't want to disappear on you, Alex. I don't want this to be something that only happened in winter. I closed my eyes, felt the truth of her words settle deep. I don't either, I whispered. I want more evenings like this, even when the snow melts, even when the library isn't the only place we meet. She pulled back just enough to look at me. I steady, soft. Then let's keep choosing it, she said. One night at a time. No promises bigger than that. Just showing up. I smiled then. Small. Real. I can do that. She kissed me again. Slower this time.
No estretlicht.
No snow falling around us. Just the quiet hum of the library lights and the soft sound of pages settling in the distance. Her lips were warm, gentle, like everything else about her. When we pulled apart, we didn't speak right away. We just stayed close, foreheads touching, hands still linked. The closing announcement came eventually. We gathered our things like always, coats on, books returned. But tonight, when we stepped outside, we didn't turn in different directions. We walked together, no plan, no destination, just side by side through the snow, hands brushing every few steps, then finally holding. The streets were empty, the world hushed under all that white. We didn't talk about tomorrow, or next week, or what happened when winter ended. We just walked, let the cold press against our faces while the warmth between our hands stayed steady. At one point she stopped, turned to face me under a street lamp, snow in her hair again, like tiny diamonds catching light. I like this, she said. Us, like this. I looked at her, really looked. The way her eyes held mine without asking for anything. The way she stood close but not crowding. The way she made the quiet feel like home. I like it too, I said. More than I thought I could. She smiled. That small curve I'd come to know so well. Then she stepped into me, arms around my waist, head against my chest. I wrapped my arms around her, held her there, felt her heartbeat through our coats. Steady, real. We stayed like that until the cold started to creep in. Then we pulled apart, just enough to keep walking. When we finally reached the place where our paths would have split before, we didn't stop. We kept going, a little farther, toward her street this time. At her door she turned, looked up at me. Tomorrow? She asked. Tomorrow, I said. She rose on her toes, kissed me once more, soft, lingering just long enough to feel like a promise. Then she went inside. I watched the door close, watched the light come on in her window, watched a shadow move behind the curtain. I turned toward home, snow still falling, but slower now, like it knew the night was ending gently. I walked with my hands in my pockets, one still warm from hers, and I thought about how strange it was, how something that started with pencil on paper had become this. Hands, kisses, quiet walks, a feeling that didn't need to be named yet. I didn't know what came next, not exactly, but I knew I wanted it. I knew I'd keep showing up, because the quiet we built wasn't just comfortable anymore. It was necessary, in the best possible way. I'll tell you about the evenings that followed, the ones where winter started to soften and we started to find each other outside the library walls, where the story moved from margins to real mornings, real evenings, real life. But not tonight. For now, just picture me walking the last stretch home, snowflakes catching in my eyelashes, a quiet certainty settling in my chest, knowing that tomorrow she'll be waiting again. Not with notes, not with hesitation, just with herself. Open, warm, ready for whatever small thing we choose next. Winter didn't end all at once. It faded slowly, like the way a long conversation trails off when both people know there's more to say tomorrow. The snow turned to slush, then to patches that caught the light differently. The days stretched longer, but we kept meeting at the library anyway. Not every night now, sometimes every other. Sometimes we texted first. Simple things like, "Still coming?" And the answer was always yes. Quiet, sure. One evening in late February, the air felt softer when I stepped outside. Not warm yet, just less sharp. I walked the familiar path, coat still buttoned, but scarf looser around my neck. The library doors felt heavier somehow, not because they were, but because I knew spring was coming. And with it, questions I hadn't let myself ask yet. Elena was already inside. She'd chosen our corner table again, a small stack of books between us. She looked up when I approached. That smile, smaller now, more familiar, but still the one that made my chest loosen. He said. Our knees touched under the table right away. Neither of us moved. We just let them stay. We talked about small things at first. Poem she'd read that morning. A walk she took through the park when the ice started melting. Then silence settled again. Comfortable. But tonight it carried something underneath. A gentle weight. She reached for my hand like always, but this time she held it a little tighter. Looked at our fingers laced together. Then at me. "I've been thinking," she said, quiet, careful, "about what happens when the snow's gone, when the library isn't the only place we have anymore." I felt my heart do that slow, steady drop. Not fear exactly, just the realization that we'd reached the edge of something safe, the place where everything had started. I nodded. "I've been thinking about it too." She waited, gave me room. "I don't want to stop seeing you," I said. "But I don't know what this looks like outside these walls. Outside winter. I'm scared it changes. That we change. Or that we don't. And it feels wrong somehow." She didn't rush to answer. Just let my words sit there. Then she traced the back of my hand with her thumb. Slow circles. Like she was drawing the truth into my skin. "I'm scared too," she said. "I like how gentle this has been. How we never had to force anything. I worry that outside here, life gets louder, we get busier, and the quiet we built might feel smaller." I looked down at our hands, felt the warmth of her palm against mine, the small callus on her middle finger from holding pencils too long. Things I'd come to know without trying. "But I don't want to hide here forever either," I said. "I want to know what you look like in daylight. What your laugh sounds like when we're walking somewhere that isn't covered in snow. I want more of you, even if it means risking the quiet." She lifted her eyes to mine. They were soft, a little uncertain, but steady. "Then let's try," she whispered. "Let's step outside these shelves. One small thing at a time. A coffee somewhere else. A walk when it's not snowing. See what still feels like us." I felt something loosen in my chest. Not relief exactly, more like permission, to want more without losing what we had. "Okay," I said, my voice quieter than I meant it to be. "Let's try." We didn't make plans right then. We just sat with the decision. Let it breathe. Her thumb kept moving in those slow circles. My fingers stayed wrapped around hers. The library lights dimmed for closing, but we didn't move until the announcement came. When we finally stood, she didn't let go of my hand right away. We walked to the doors together, coats on, books left behind. Outside the air was damp. No snow tonight, just the promise of it melting soon. We paused under the awning like always, but this time neither of us turned away immediately. She looked up at me, snow no longer in her hair, just the soft glow of the streetlight catching her face. "I'm glad we're doing this," she said, "even if it feels a little unsteady." I leaned down, kissed her forehead first. Then her lips, slow, gentle, like we were sealing something fragile but real. When I pulled back, she rested her head against my chest for a second, just long enough to hear my heartbeat. Then she stepped back, squeezed my hand once more. "Text me tomorrow?" she asked. "I will." She smiled, that small, knowing curve. Then she walked into the night. I watched her go, the way her steps were sure even in the damp dark. The way she glanced back once before turning the corner. I started home, the streets quieter without snow muffling them, my breath visible in the cooler air. But I didn't feel cold. I felt open, a little raw, like I just admitted something big without saying it out loud. That I wanted her in my life beyond the margins, beyond the winter that had held us so carefully. And I knew it might not stay this gentle forever. Life would come in, with its noise, its timing, its small distances. But tonight, under the streetlights with no snow falling, I felt ready to meet it, because she was ready too. I'll tell you what happened when we stepped fully outside those walls. When the first coffee turned into more. When the quiet we loved started to live in new places. But not tonight. For now, just picture me walking the last blocks home, hands in my pockets, one still warm from hers, a soft uncertainty in my chest mixed with something steadier. Hope, maybe, or just the simple truth that we're choosing to keep going. One uncertain, beautiful step at a time. The first time we met outside the library, it felt like stepping into a slightly different season. Not spring yet, but the air had lost its bite. I waited on a bench near the small park a few blocks away, coat unbuttoned, hands in my pockets, watching people walk past without the heavy layers they'd worn all winter. Elena appeared at the end of the path. Same green sweater, but sleeves pushed up now. Hair loose. She walked with that same unhurried pace, like time wasn't something she fought against. When she saw me, she lifted her hand in a small wave. Not big, just enough. I stood up, felt my heart do that familiar steady rise. Not racing, just awake. "Hey," she said when she reached me. Her voice sounded the same, but brighter somehow, in daylight, without shelves around us. "Hey," I smiled, felt it reach my eyes. "You look different out here." She laughed softly, a real sound, not the quiet breath we used in the reading room. "Good different." "Yeah, good." We started walking, no plan, just along the path where the trees were starting to show tiny green buds. The ground was damp from melted snow, puddles reflecting gray sky. We talked about nothing important at first. The way the light felt longer now. A book she'd finished that morning. A song stuck in my head. Easy things, safe things. But underneath, there was this gentle current. The awareness that we were doing this, outside the place that had held us so carefully. No margins to hide in, no closing time to end it. At one point we stopped by a low stone wall, leaned against it side by side, shoulders touching. She looked out at the park, then at me. "I keep waiting for it to feel strange," she said. "Being with you like this, no books between us, no quiet rules." I nodded. "I do too. Part of me still expects the lights to dim, and someone to announce we have to leave." She turned her body toward me a little, I searching mine. Soft, honest. "Does it feel strange?" I thought about it, really let the question sit. "No," I said finally. "It feels new, but still us, like we carried the quiet out here with us." She reached for my hand, laced our fingers without looking down. "Just natural now." "I like that," she whispered, carrying it with us. We stood there longer than we needed to, letting the moment stretch. A breeze moved through the trees, carried the faint smell of wet earth and new growth. I felt something shift inside me, not big, just a quiet deepening, like I was finally allowing myself to believe. This wasn't temporary. That winter hadn't invented us. We just found each other there. Later we found a small cafe. Not fancy, just warm lights and mismatched chairs. We sat by the window, ordered tea, watched people pass outside. She told me about her childhood winters, how she used to read under blankets until her mother made her turn off the light. I told her about the year I spent too much time alone after a hard breakup, how books became the only thing that didn't leave. We didn't dig too deep, just shared enough to feel closer. When the tea was gone, she looked at me across the small table. "I'm glad we tried this," she said, "even if I'm still a little scared." I reached across, covered her hand with mine. "I'm still a little scared too, but the scared part, the smaller now, because you're here, really here." She turned her hand over, palm to palm again, squeezed once, gentle, steady. We walked out together when the cafe started closing. The sky had turned that soft evening blue, streetlights just coming on. We didn't hold hands the whole way. Sometimes we did. Sometimes our arms brushed. Sometimes we walked close enough that our shadows touched on the sidewalk. At the corner where we'd usually part, we stopped again. She looked up at me, the light catching her face in a way that made her look almost glowing. "I don't want tonight to end yet," she said, quiet, vulnerable. I felt my chest expand, not dramatically, just full. "Me neither." She stepped closer, slid her arms around my waist. I wrapped mine around her shoulders, held her there, felt her breathe against my coat, felt mine match hers. We stayed like that until the evening chill started to settle. When we finally pulled back, she didn't step away completely, just enough to look at me. "Come home with me?" she asked. Not bold, not hesitant either, just open, like she was offering something she'd been holding carefully for a long time. I searched her eyes, saw the same quiet trust one felt in my own chest, saw the small uncertainty that made it real. "Yeah," I said, soft. "Sure." We walked the rest of the way to her place, hands linked now.
No rush.
No words needed, just the sound of our footsteps, the distant hum of the city waking up tonight. At her door she paused, key in hand, looked at me one more time, like she was making sure. I smiled, small, real. She opened the door. We stepped inside. The warmth wrapped around us. Her space smelled faintly of books and cedar. Soft lamplight, a blanket folded on the couch. Everything simple, everything hers. She closed the door behind us, turned to me. Neither of us moved right away. We just stood there, in the quiet of her home, feeling the shift, the way the story had moved from library aisles to this small, real space. She reached up, touched my cheek, light, warm. "Thank you for coming," she whispered. I leaned down, kissed her slowly, deeper than before, but still gentle, still us. When we pulled apart, she took my hand again, led me toward the couch. We sat close, her head on my shoulder, my arm around her. No need to rush anything else. Not tonight. We stayed like that for a long time, just breathing together, letting the quiet settle around us again. Only now it wasn't borrowed from a building. It was ours. I felt something settle in me then, a soft peak of certainty. Not that everything would be perfect, not that nothing would ever change, just that this, whatever we were becoming, was worth the small risks, worth the gentle fear, worth choosing again and again. I'll tell you about the morning after, and the evenings that followed, when the story stopped needing winter to hold it, when it started living in daylight too. But not tonight. For now, just picture us here, on her couch, lamp low, her breathing steady against me, my hand resting in her hair, feeling the quiet we built, finally feel big enough to carry us forward, together, one calm, honest breath at a time. The mornings after that first night at her place started to feel different too. Not rushed, not loud, just steady. I'd wake up before her sometimes, lie there listening to her breathing, slow, even the kind that makes you feel safe just hearing it. Her arm draped loosely across my waist, hair spilling over the pillow like she'd always belonged right there. I didn't move much, just watched the light come through the curtains in soft gray lines. Let myself feel how quiet it was, how the quiet didn't feel lonely anymore. She'd stir eventually, eyes opening slow, a small smile when she saw me already awake. No words at first, just her hand finding mine under the blanket. Fingers curling together like it was the most natural thing in the world. We'd stay like that for a while. No need to get up right away. No hurry to fill the silence. Some days we made coffee together. She'd stand at the counter in an old t-shirt. I'd lean against the doorway watching her measure grounds with that same careful way she used to write in margins. We didn't talk about forever. We didn't make big declarations. We just kept choosing the small things. A shared mug, a brush of shoulders while reaching for cups, a quiet good morning that felt like more than words. The library didn't disappear from our lives. We still went back sometimes. Not every night, not out of habit, but because it felt right to return to where it started. We'd sit at our old table, pull down the same books, look for the notes we'd left each other. They were still there, faint pencil lines, slightly smudged now from hands brushing over them. We'd read them again, smile at how careful we used to be, how much we'd held back before we learned it was safe to let go a little. One evening we went back just to sit. No books this time, just us, hands linked on the table. The reading room almost empty, the same soft lights, the same hum of the heater. She looked around like she was seeing it new. "This place gave us so much," she said, quiet, thoughtful. "But it's not the only place anymore." I squeezed her hand. "No, it's not." We left earlier than usual that night, walked out holding hands. The air outside was warmer now. Spring had finally settled in. Trees showing green, sidewalks dry, no snow left to remind us how it all began. But we didn't need reminders. The feeling stayed. We kept building. Small moments stacking into something bigger without us forcing it. A weekend walk through the park. Dinner at her place. A night at mine where she fell asleep on my couch with a book open on her chest. I covered her with a blanket, sat on the floor beside her, watched her sleep for a while, felt this quiet ache. Not sad, not worried, just full. Like I'd finally found the place my heart had been trying to rest for years. There were still moments of doubt, gentle ones, like when I'd wake up in the middle of the night and wonder if this could last, if the softness would wear thin, if life would get too loud again. But then she'd shift closer in her sleep, murmur something soft I couldn't quite hear, and the doubt would shrink back. Not gone forever, just quieter, smaller, less important than the warmth beside me. One afternoon we sat on her balcony, late spring sun warm on our faces, coffee gone cold on the small table between us. She looked at me over the rim of her mug. Even though it was empty, "I used to think connection had to be big," she said. "Fireworks, declarations, something that shook everything. But this feels truer, small, steady, like it's built to last." I reached across, took her hand, felt the familiar fit of our fingers. "I thought the same thing once," I said, "that real things had to hurt a little, or be loud, but you showed me quiet can be deep, that gentle can hold just as much." She smiled then, that small curve I'd fallen for months ago, leaned over, kissed me slow, soft, like she was saying thank you without words. We stayed out there until the light turned golden, then moved inside, curled up on the couch, her head on my chest, my fingers in her hair. The city sounds faint outside the window, but inside just us, just breathing, just being. I don't know what the rest of the seasons will bring. Summer heat, fall, maybe winters that feel different now. Maybe small distances when life pulls us in separate directions for a day or two. But I know I'll keep choosing her, the way she chooses me, not because it's perfect, not because it's easy every day, but because the quiet we found together feels like the safest place I've ever known. And sometimes, when the night is still and the world is sleeping, I think back to that first note, those 7 small words in the margin. "You come back to this one too, don't you?" And I smile into the dark, because I did come back, again and again, until coming back meant coming home, to her, to us, to this gentle thing we built one quiet evening at a time. And if you're still listening, thank you for staying with me through it all. for letting me tell you this, for sitting in the quiet with me. I hope wherever you are right now, you feel a little less alone too. I hope the night feels soft around you. I hope you drift off feeling held, because that's what she gave me. And maybe, just maybe, that's what stories like this are for. Good night.